All right, so this actually stemmed out of a couple Facebook questions that I had yesterday, and sort of a shameless plug, member of a Facebook group. It's called AR Builders of America, and if you like ARs, guns in general, it's a great group. Go over, check it out. Anyways, two threads popped up, or two questions popped up about painting guns, and specifically like rattle can paint jobs. And so I'm kind of a fan of rattle can paint jobs. I think they're pretty cool, and so I thought I would just do like a semi-quick video on, using rattle cans to paint guns or gear or whatever. And so what we've got on the table are some kind of various stages of prepared work that we're going to paint. So kind of start off with like the materials that you're going to need, and then go into the actual process. So what you see there, you've got 3 rifle magazines basically that I'm going to paint. And so 2 Magpul Gen 2s, sorry, there's bees and stuff out here if I get a little distracted, 2 Magpul Gen 2 PMags, and then just a GI magazine there. So what you're gonna need, obviously, the equipment that you're gonna paint. You're gonna want some blue, or well, I guess any tape. I like blue painter's tape, and that's going to be to cover up anything that you don't want to get paint on. So like sections of rail, flashlights, whatever. You're gonna need some painter's tape for that. Then you're going to need a way to degrease whatever it is that you're going to paint. So obviously when you're handling things, oils from your skin get on it. When we're talking about guns, there's solvents and those kinds of things, and all of those are going to inhibit the way the paint adheres to the material that or to whatever it is that you're going to paint. So I degrease everything that gets paint, and what I use is just isopropyl alcohol, 91% isopropyl alcohol. It seems to work really, really good. And then I just use cotton balls to apply it. Next, you're going to need paint. So this is Krylon and Rust-Oleum. I've used both of them, and they both work really well. I don't have a preference over either one, just whatever I can find at whatever store I'm going to. And then you're going to need your template. And for this, what I'm going to use is a piece of cami net. And this came from like Cheaper Than Dirt or someplace, like 6 years ago, I think. Not that long ago. Anyways, I've had it for a while. The bulk of the cami net has been used for other things, but I cut out this little section specifically to paint. And so this is the template that I use. You can use whatever you want to. You can use leaves, straw, whatever, or you can even, maybe you don't even need a template. You can just splotch it on, whatever. Like I say, I like the cami net. I think it gives I think it's a good template. So that's the stuff that you're going to need. If you're going to paint magazines, what you're going to need is some way to keep them upright. That way you can get even paint around there. It's not going to like lay on wet paint and that kind of stuff. So if you're painting magazines, you're going to want a way to keep it upright. The same is going to go for a rifle. And so you could come up with something similar for a rifle, maybe flip a magazine over, stick your rifle on a magazine, and then you could paint a magazine at the same time. But you're going to want some way for the rifle to be upright. You could even hang a rifle vertically, and you could do magazines vertically as well. I happen to like this method, but you're going to want some way to keep it so that you're not laying whatever it is that you're doing on wet paint. So there's that. Like I say, some sort of rack to paint whatever it is that needs to get painted. So moving right along. So what we've got are, just to sort of save time, we've got a PMag that's been taped off. I'll kind of show you the sections that I want to tape. That's already been taped off and is generally degreased, and then just for time purposes, a magazine that already has a base coat on it. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and set you guys down and just kind of work in front of the camera here. So I'm gonna move some of this stuff out of the way. All right, so taping the magazine, or taping any piece of equipment. The PMags are real easy, as you can see there in the background. You kind of see where where it's gonna sort of limit itself into the magazine well. I'm sure you could get paint on the part of the magazine that goes into the well. I just don't like it. It's gonna wear off anyway, so why waste your time painting it? What you're gonna want to do is identify kind of your limit of advance on the paint. And this doesn't matter, whatever it is that you're gonna gonna tape up. Figure out where you want that tape to go, and then just apply the tape. Make sure that it's on there, and that you're going to get full coverage, you know, especially if you're going to do like an optic or something like that. Really take your time, make sure that the paint's on, or that the tape is on there well, you know. And so basically what we're going to do is we're just going to run it all the way up, just like these magazines are. I'll pull up one of them to show you kind of how far up I go with it, but I'm sorry. Make sure that your tape is going to completely cover what you don't want taped. I'm not going to take the time to do it. You guys get the point, but just make sure you're getting full coverage there. And then as far as degreasing goes, all I'm going to do is just take my cotton ball, kind of do the nurse thing with it, and then I'm gonna cover the whole thing. And what I'm looking for is I want full coverage on that. I don't want to have any, you know, grease spots and that kind of stuff. I want to make sure that I get all those oils and stuff off there. So and then I would just go through, I would do the whole thing again. I think you guys get it, but make sure you do a very thorough job with your degreasing, you know, especially when you're talking guns and stuff like that. And then the other thing that it'll do is you can see that that cotton ball is dirty, you know, it's pulling all the dirt and stuff like that off there. It's going to be important that you do that. So all right, so there's that. I think it's pretty straight on. Put my cap on so I don't lose my alcohol. Oh, one of the things that I didn't mention that you could use would be, you know, like a pair of work gloves or something like that if you don't want to get paint on you. I really don't. I don't care. So, like I say, what we're gonna do is we're gonna paint this magazine right here, and like I say, it's already been degreased and everything. Sorry about the wobble. And so what we're looking for when we put down our base coat, maybe I should talk to that. So what I like to do is I start with my lightest color first, and then get progressively dark from there. So probably what you're gonna have is, when you're doing your pattern, your darker colors are probably, you know, it's gonna be less. You're gonna have less dark than light. So you're gonna want to have your main coat be that light color. And what I'm looking for is not necessarily total coverage. I just want to get it on there. If you try to go for total coverage, you'll end up, the paint will get too thick and stuff like that, and it'll have a hard time curing. So like I say, we're not looking for total coverage, we're just looking to get enough paint on there generally to cover up what we're trying to cover up. So around. All right, so there it is. That's all I'm doing for a base coat on that. As we can get down there, you can see we're not really talking like total coverage. You can definitely see black and stuff like that in there, and that's fine. Probably those places that get left with the black, you know, there's a good chance that they're gonna get hit with some of the camouflage or paint that goes over the top of it and that kind of thing. So we don't really need total coverage, we just need it to be good enough. That out of the way. So again, just for time purposes, went ahead and already painted this one. It's already dry and everything, and so again, as you can see, we don't have total coverage with the paint there. So if this didn't turn, I hope this turned out, because I have to do this in one take, because I'm not gonna paint a whole bunch of magazines today. So all right, now what we'll do, I think actually what I'm gonna do, just kind of back this off. And so what I want to do with what I want to do with this is I just want that on there. I'm not gonna like necessarily press it tight or anything like that. I'm just gonna throw it up on there. Now, one of the things to keep in mind when you're doing this, less is definitely more. So I'm not gonna take my next color here and like really go over this. I'm just gonna hit it a couple of times. Again, when you're doing the painting stuff, less is more. Remember that with the base coat, as you saw, I didn't put a whole lot on there. So remember that with the base coat, as well as coming back over with any other colors that you might wanna do. So this next color is just going to be a dark brown. I'm not going to go crazy. I don't need a whole lot of colors where I live. You know, I just need really a light brown and a dark brown. That's really it. So what I'm going to do here is okay, there it is. That's it for that side. Go ahead and turn it. So as you can see by draping that cami net over it, it does a pretty good job of And then what we can do is just reposition that. Pop that off for you. Get some coverage here on the front and on the top. Here we go. We'll go ahead and pull that. Now, what you're going to want to do is once you get your paint on there, once it gets maybe not quite dry, you're going to want to go ahead, pull this, you know, start pulling off your blue tape. You want to do that before it gets totally dry. I think that that's a good idea. I don't know where I picked that up at, but I think that's generally a good idea, is to get that blue tape off as quickly as you can. Again, I'm not going to want to go in there right now. That paint's still going to be a little bit tacky. I don't want to get oil and stuff in there. So I'll let it sit up for a couple minutes. Then probably before it's completely dry, I'll pull that tape off there. So there it is. That is the process that I use when I'm painting any piece of gear, be it magazines, guns, you may want to paint holsters or something like that. That's the process. And you know, if you're doing guns and that kind of stuff, really take your time with the taping, really make sure that it's good and degreased, those kinds of things. I mean, you saw that was about an 8-minute job to get this done. I mean, actual work time's pretty limited, but your prep time is what's going to take a lot of time. And let your layers dry. You know, if you were going to go back over this and do another color, what I would do is wait for this to get completely dry, wait for that brown to dry out, and then I would put another coat on. So like I say, take your time when you're doing it. Don't rush through. Make sure that it is what you want. And remember that when you're actually doing the paint, less is more. So hey, I appreciate you guys taking the time to tune in. If you have questions or anything like that, questions, comments, you know, feel free to leave them down at the bottom. If you like what you see, subscribe and share and all that good stuff. Sorry, there's like a ton of bees out here. I'm out of here. Thanks, guys.